so pulpy you can basically recycle it as it is. Hello geeks and ghouls, we're still in the Evilathon prompts for the month of November, and I'm happy to announce that I've got 2 prompts down and another prompt I'm not doing, and this is what we're talking about today. And also we'll talk about this book over here, In the Moons of Borea by Brian Lumley. If the name Brian Lumley is familiar to you, it is because he is very well known for his Necroscope series, which has an amazing number of books by now, and it's a great vampire, supernatural horror and cosmic horror meet clandestine secret services and spy novels. And it's the first book was quite a lot of fun. I read it almost 20 years ago, and I really enjoyed it, even though it was not exactly what I was hoping it would be. And this book over here, I have bought it in a convention some 5 years ago or something, 6 years ago, and I was not quite sure what it was. So Brian Lumley, it was one of his Cthulhy Mythos books, and I was curious to read some of his Cthulhy Mythos because I knew he started with Cthulhu stories, and I got it without knowing it was the 5th book in a series, in his Titus Crow series, even though Titus Crow, the main character of that novel series of novels, is not featured here. I've read these books for the prompt of No Sanctuary, read a book of people trapped somewhere, and instead of having a boring story about people trapped in a basement or an abandoned building or something, what about people trapped in another planet, the planet of Borea, the lair of Ithaqua, since we're talking about of the elder gods, Ithaqua, which is Lovecraft's version of the Wendigo. We can also say that covers the flesh prompt in a horror book with a creature. And there are plenty of creatures. There are giant wolves, there is Ithaqua himself, and there are his ice priests, which were probably the best part of this novel. This novel, Moons of Borea, is sort of a Cthulhu Mythos meets Doctor Who meets John Carter novels. So yeah, it's so pulpy you can basically recycle it as it is. And I have to say that yeah, this book was not quite fun, even though I was expecting something that good. And maybe it's because it's the 5th book in a series and it features 2 characters that are already known from in the series. We have Margini, who is a Titus Crow sidekick, and he's in a clock that travels space and time, so basically a TARDIS with another name, a Cthulhu Mythos TARDIS. And as he's traveling the ether, he's going to Elysia, where the elder gods reside, because yes, it's the Cthulhu Mythos as codified by August Derleth, so there are the good elder gods and the evil Cthulhu Mythos entities, and you know they're typified by fire, earth, water and air, and Ithaqua is an air god. And this is something I don't quite like in these Cthulhu Mythos books, but whatever. What can I say? So as he's traveling, he summons the Hounds of Tyndalos and he has to evacuate, and he ends the planet of Borea, where we have another character. He was the protagonist in the 4th book in the series. He's a warlord, he's a Texan, and he went to this planet of Borea, but he has psychic abilities and he had fights with Ithaqua and all this kind of stuff. And he's Hank Silverhood. So the Morgini ends up on the planet, but the inhabitants, the evil minions of Ithaqua, steal his TARDIS, his clock, and he has to regain it back. He's saved by Silverhood, and they're planning to take the clock back from Ithaqua. However, Ithaqua is not a kind god. He's a Cthulhu Mythos entity after all, so he banishes the clock to one of the moons of Borea, Numenos and Dromos. By the way, Borea is the northern land in Greek, and Dromos means the road in Greek, and Numenos means nothing in Greek. It's a Latin word. So our heroes, the Margini and Silverhood, have to travel to the 2 moons of Borea, trying to reclaim the clock. So they go to Numenos first, and it is inhabited by Vikings who have been taken by Ithaqua and have been established there. And he's doing eugenics so he can get a very pretty mate, because he wants to have a child to accompany Ithaqua in his exile, as he is forced to travel from planet to planet. And the Viking tribes are trying to take the one island that Ithaqua has no power on, where his perfect mate is. And then we go to Dromos, which is a frozen planet, and here we have the Ice Priest, who are a sinister race. So it was the good part of the book, because most of the book was not that well written. There was not enough tension. I mean, the characters were they were not established. It's established characters, so yes, maybe it is because they were established in previous books, I get that, but they had zero personality, I think, or maybe all their characterization was callbacks to the earlier character. The writing, it was telling, not showing. We're getting information about a lot of stuff that we were supposed to get, and a little was shown to us, which was kind of boring. The stakes were not quite high. Most of the plot was going through the motions, so we can get to the end. There is some great suspense towards the end with the planet of Dromos. I really like this part with the Ice Priest. They were sinister and they looked and felt very threatening. And there was an interesting twist towards the end. Yeah, it was not like the John Carter novels where Ryder Burroughs was doing some extremely unfair stuff, and he was a master of hyperbole, and he was selling you this excitement, this adventure in another world. Here it was much more going through the motions and trying to stay faithful to the Cthulhy mythos. And this book was published in 1992, I believe. It comes right after Spawn of the Winds, which is about Silverhute, and then we have also The Boreas Beneath the Transition of Titus Crow, The Clock of Dreams, that are the three first books in the series, and then we go to Elysia, that's the next one. But I'm not sure I'm going to continue with this series for long, because I wasn't that entertained by it. I mean, I have some of the Necroscope books, and they were much more fun. The writing is very similar to the Necroscope books. Lumley's writing is not quite my thing, but it lacked the ideas, the crazy ideas and the freaky stuff in Necroscope. I mean, yes, there's the same thing with the superpowered protagonist like Harika in Necroscope, which is like a god from the first book, and he's still getting powers. I read the first two Necroscope books and I was like, I don't like this guy anymore. I've also got Necroscope 3 and 4 and my two read pals. Maybe I'll go through these books so I can unhold them. I'm not a big Lumley fan, but I was very entertained by, reading some of his Cthulhu stuff, and it was not quite what I expected. So for me, it's not a recommend. This book is not a recommend, however, it covers two of the prompts. And there's another prompt I tried to do, and it's Funland, with a horror book in a fun park or party. And had no book like that in my bookshelf, so I was like, okay, I'll go out there and get Tim Coon's Hideout, which is about a carnival and psychic stuff. And then we went into lockdown, so I was not able to buy any new books for the month of November, which is actually quite great, because I have already a lot of books, but I couldn't find a party or a Halloween or a Funland book. I was not in the mood to reread Funland by Richard Lehman, or Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, or I have another party book, I can't recall it right now. Never mind. So I went to Amazon, I looked for Kindle horror books, I wrote party, and I got Amazon. We need to have a talk. However, doing some more digging, I ended up with this book, Tinsley's Revenge Party by John S. Sabis, which was about two popular kids in high school running a revenge party for the popular girls. And I thought, yes, it's great, I'll read it, but there are two problems. First problem is that there's no party. It's just in the title, and they're just going through, they have plans, and they murder the popular kids in some inventive ways because they have a master plan. And the story was quite nice. It was nothing impressive, but I did enjoy it. There was some good characterization, some good ideas, some kills that were imaginative, even though not as vivid as I would like them. But whatever, it was, it had potential. However, this book was, there was at least one typo per page. It was like, it was never edited by nobody. And the writing was so-so. The potential was there, and the characters had some interest, but the writing and the editing were atrocious. Well, no, the writing was not atrocious, the writing was so-so, but the editing was atrocious, and neither did I enjoy this book, nor I fit my prompt. And you know what, I may do a reread of a book, but like, no. It's not worth it, really. I'll fail the prompt, okay? I gave a try and failed it, so I'm not doing it. I mean, I've been in horror for quite a few months, and I'm like, I want to read something else. So, yeah, I think the prompt of Funland is a fail for me. What can I do? But Tinsel's Revenge Party is not a recommend for me, and I know it's an indie book, so you say you're mean. I understand that some of the indie books may have subpar editing, I get that. However, this book, it was like it had no editing at all. And yeah, that was not great. So that was my Evilathon update. I still have 2 books to complete the prompts. I've read one of them and it covers 2 more prompts, and you know, I'm going for topping it off with a book that you'll love the review. It's a reread I wanted to for quite some time, and this Evilathon was a great opportunity to reread it, and the other book I've read for Evilathon was great, and definitely recommend, but you'll have to stay tuned to see which book it is and what was my opinion. So if you want to see this video, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and as always, stay spooky. Thank you for watching.